like, the odds of one of these two going in there and playing up to their potential and throwing a touchdown pass or getting them down to the touchdown, I'm like, no way. Sure enough, both those lost. What I did take was I took the Rams to win, and I took the Bengals to win. I took the Bengals to win on what they call the money line, which means no points. So I came out way ahead again. And I'm like, okay, Big Daddy's home. And then I went to the blackjack table. And
how'd that go?
And that's when the cyclone that is Vegas took me over. Woof, woof, woof.
How much were you up before you went to the blackjack table?
I can't remember how much I was up because it went away so fast that I can't remember.
$1,000.
I probably went up 1,000,
Okay.
and I ended up down 1,000. Welcome to the Small Business Safari, where I help guide you to avoid those traps, pitfalls, and dangers that lurk when navigating the wild world of small business ownership. I'll share those gold nuggets of information and invite guests to help accelerate your ascent up that mountaintop of success. It's a jungle out there, and I want to help you traverse to the levels of owning your own business that can get you bogged down and distract you from achieving your own personal and professional goals. So strap in, adventure team, and let's take a ride through the safari and get you to the mountaintop. And here's the benefit of running your own business. I could run it from home. Not going to waste.
Great to be king.
There is a lot of benefit of running your own business. It's not necessarily being a king, but how about being you're kind of master of your own domain, to use the lines from Seinfeld?
Yeah, that is not a reference that
No. Did I just use the wrong reference?
Yeah, that has something to do with pleasuring yourself, I think.
Damn it. Well, you can see where my head's at most of the time.
Yeah.
So I love running my own business because I get the flexibility. And that's one of the things that I can appreciate now because, a couple of my guys ended up getting COVID, and they're like, Chris, I can't find a test. I've been spending 4 hours trying to find a test. I'm like, well, why? Well, I want to come back to work. I'm like, I appreciate that. Then, all right, continue. However, if you're positive, I'm not going to see you again until you get a negative and come back, or I'm not going to see you until 5 days after per the CDC guidelines. So it's up to you. So what I did was I went, well, wait a minute. I can just sit at the house. I'm just not coming back till next Monday at the earliest.
Was this before or after Vegas?
This is before Vegas.
Speaking of Vegas, I just have to get it out on the table. I find it so amusing that maybe since the time we started podcasting together, the most pithy, pivotal gold nugget we got from anybody was putting your ladder of success on the right house. And what did you do right after that?
Rolled out to Vegas and blew $1,000.
Yeah.
I did, brother. I did. But I had a lot of fun blowing that $1,000.
You went for the sports book.
I went out there for the sports book.
I
did
think
some
that
blackjack.
sounds like so much fun. How many guys were you with?
Well, so this time it was only 3 of us. Last time we went out there, it was a whole group of like 12. And that is a lot of fun.
Just taking over. Well, you're not taking over.
No, you'd never take over a sports book out there. Because if you've never been to Vegas, it is so over the top, so big. You walk forever. In fact, my feet were sore when we left because we walked forever. We walked all across just looking at stuff too and enjoying it. But when you go out there with 12 guys and 12 mature guys who think they can still run with the big dogs and get off the porch, but we also know that we can run in our own packs if we have to. So it's not 12 guys trying to go, okay, guys, we all have to get tea times. Okay, all right. Now we're all going to go out to eat together. Oh, okay, let's all go to the sports book together. And the guys we go with are all so secure with what's going on. You're like, the 3 of us or 4 of us will go this way, and the 4 of them will go that way, and the other 4 will go this way, and then we'd all just boom meet up at the sports book and start watching football again. And that's a blast because you're not responsible for anybody. Because the last thing you want to do is go out there with your family. Or your family.
I can't even imagine a family vacation in Vegas. I remember there was a period of time when they were trying to promote that.
I saw them out there, and I still don't know how you do it.
No,
it's a lot more cleaned up, but it is still not the place for kids.
No,
it's not. It's for adults. Go out there, you have fun. You see lots of different. You see all different kinds of walks of life. You see all different kinds of class and everything else, and the people watching is amazing.
So one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was from my cousin, and he said, you either take a vacation for the kids or without the kids. And it's the best piece of advice I've ever been given, because I think about people who take their kids on vacation to Vegas. That's not for the kids. That's for you. You're going to Vegas and you're trying to pretend that it's a family vacation. And it's the worst thing you could do.
And how does this tie into entrepreneurship? Let me tell you why. Because when you were in corporate America, you had your 2, maybe 4 weeks, and you had to plan out 1 vacation for the kids, 2 vacations for the kids, and then you had to decide whether or not you were going to be selfish enough to go take the 3rd and 4th vacations for yourself,
The guys,
or you don't get to do that. So that you have to sit there and make those trade-offs. When you run your own business, you get to do it all. Once you get it to a certain level and get going. In the beginning, I mean, it's a grind, bro. Leaving for a week in the beginning, never away from it. You're always in the middle of it.
you can't afford it.
You can't afford it. You're not doing any of those trips. Once you get it to, and this is a great example of level of success. I can't tell you how many vacations I've been on in the last 12 months, and this is coming out of COVID. I can tell you it's a lot more than I ever went on when I was in corporate America. Why? Because I'll do 4 days here. I'll do, we didn't go to Vegas for a week. We went to Vegas for 4 days. I went to Scottsdale, Arizona for 4 days. I went to Michigan. I've been to Naples, Florida. I've been doing all that stuff because I can now. And that's pretty freeing. I don't have a boss looking over my shoulder going, what, you're taking vacation again? What? Well, really, I think about my business 24/7 anyway. So I don't care where I'm at. I'm still thinking about it.
That's a testament to the people that you have here, I think.
I think that's a good point. The team I have now is solid, and it's the culture I built. And I had a great phrase used to me is that you can tell the culture of a company when you walk in. And is it a morgue or is it a party?
Yep.
And I feel like right now I have a party. Can it be a morgue? Sure. I mean, guys, when you're in home service and you have to deal with what we deal with, we have shitty days. I mean, and especially after a long 3-day weekend, Mondays, that's Tuesday. We call that Super Tuesday because that's 2 Mondays in a row, all stacked in 4 hours. So it can be tough, but you know what? When you get the team lined up and doing their thing, and you know what I find interesting is I used to sheepishly not tell people I was leaving. I didn't want anybody to know.
Yeah, you're almost a little embarrassed by it.
Embarrassed and guilty. Yep. I wouldn't tell anybody I was going on vacation because I felt sheepish about it.
Yeah.
I felt like, you know what? I'm going out and doing all this, and they're just all working for me, working for the man, and he's out there running around.
I remember exactly what you're talking about when I had my furniture store, and we weren't doing that well. And a buddy of mine invited me to the Kentucky Derby, and it was his wife couldn't go at the last second. It was all expenses paid. It was just an amazing trip, and I didn't tell anybody I went because I was embarrassed.
When I started telling people that I was going, I was embarrassed. And it started to get out to some of the techs and the sales guys that I didn't want to know. And I started to get even more embarrassed. Today, with the culture that I've turned it into, they're all thrilled that I'm going. They all want to see pics of, when I'm out there. They all want to hear how much I won, even though this time I lost my absolute ass, but it doesn't matter. They love it. And you know what they did? Because they loved that I went out there and had fun, and they were here taking care of business, and they knew that I trusted them.
Yep.
And so they felt more fulfilled. Now, again, if this sounds like the greedy owner who says they loved that I sat there and stepped on their backs and rolled over to go over to my yacht, and that's not what I mean. They felt the pride because I also came back and said, thanks guys for letting me have some fun.
All right. So tell me how you lost your ass. So how'd you do betting on football?
All right. First of all, I bet on the Australian Open. I bet on Nadal. Okay. So this will be topical. This is 22. It's the Australian Open. Nadal's 37 years old, going for his 21st major championship, playing against Medvedev, younger guy, favored to win. You have bets. So I bet that Nadal would win the first one, showing the youngster that he was in for it, ready to go.
The first set.
Okay. Then I said he's going to win the whole thing. So in Vegas, because it's in Australia, you go to bed. Well, you do when you're my age. Yeah, I went to bed. I wake up 5 a.m. Well, 5 a.m. Match is still going. I turn it on. It's the seventh set. Yeah, seventh set. They're tied. It's 3-3. 3 games, 3 sets apiece going into the seventh, right? 2-2. 5. Yeah, it's 3.
They do 5 sets, don't they?
Is it 5?
Yeah.
Damn
But
it.
you're in Vegas.
And I was perhaps I was still drunk.
Grossly overserved.
Yes. So it's tied.
Okay.
Here we go. So I'm rooming with my buddy, and he's a huge tennis fan too. And he said, yeah, you can turn it on. We were both up. So we start watching it, and we both have Nadal to win. And if you don't know what happened in this, it was an epic battle. It was a slugfest. And these two played for hours. I mean, it must have been 5 hours. I think they played something stupid. And Nadal ends up winning. So I won, and I'm feeling flush. I'm like, yeah, big dog won. Forget that I lost the first bet. Huh? I won.
Right.
Hey,
You're a winner.
I'm a
in
winner.
Vegas.
So I run down, cash my check out. You get your ticket. You go to. So now we start betting on the football games, and I bet really well on the football games too.
Did you do prop bets or just?
I did prop bets.
All right.
Yeah.
What's the dumbest one you did?
The dumbest one I did was the San Francisco Los Angeles Rams were playing in the championship game, and I said a score would happen by a special teams score, because it was a crazy number. If they scored it, it was done. I mean, it was going to be crazy.
Okay.
And I also said,
Oh, you just picked that prop because of the odds?
the odds.
Okay.
Yeah, the payout was going to be huge. The other one I picked was the first score was San Francisco and Los Angeles Rams. This is Matthew Stafford against Jimmy Garoppolo. The first score was going to be a field goal or a safety, but not a touchdown. I'm like, the odds of one of these two going in there and playing up to their potential and throwing a touchdown pass or getting them down to the touchdown, I'm like, no way. Sure enough, both those lost. What I did take was I took the Rams to win, and I took the Bengals to win. I took the Bengals to win on what they call the money line, which means no points. So I came out way ahead again. And I'm like, okay, Big Daddy's home. And then I went to the blackjack table. And
How'd that go?
And that's when the cyclone that is Vegas took me over. Woof, woof, woof.
How much were you up before you went to the blackjack?
I can't remember how much I was up because it went away so fast that I can't remember.
$1,000.
I probably went up 1,000,
Okay.
and I ended up down 1,000.
How fast did you lose on blackjack?
The blackjack table, I lost $500 before I could even get it. So if you go out to Vegas,
You didn't even get a drink.
right?
Oh my God.
I was
an
so
expensive drink.
pissed. I put 500 out. It was gone before the lady came around to ask me for one of those drinks.
Oh, that's the worst.
So my goal after that was just to play long enough to get a couple free drinks. And then my buddy finally said, why don't you just go to the bar and get a better drink there anyway? Because that's how bad. I mean, the cards I was pulling were bad.
House rules?
Yeah. It's all house. And I just was pulling really bad cards. If you know anything about blackjack, right? Obviously it's 21. And all my hands were hard. I mean, I'd have like 12s. I've had 13s playing against 17s and 18s, or a 10 showing, and I just, everything I did. And while my buddy's over there, he had 3 blackjacks in a row. He had a turkey in blackjacks. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. He goes, I'm so glad you're happy for me. I'm like,
Did you
it could
ask him
be-
if he would change seats once just to test?
I should have probably done that, but I did pull a real dick move. It's just him and me at the table. So I played 3 hands at once.
Just to throw him off. That's a good friend he is.
How'd I do?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I did.
Did you change your luck?
So I hung on for a while. I mean, I ended up losing 1,000 after the 3 days. So that you could call that entertainment expense.
My
But,
accountant wife doesn't understand that, but
No.
yeah, it totally makes sense.
well, I would tell you that the only time I won big, that money didn't come home with me either.
No.
You know where that went? Food. Oh, where were you thinking? Oh, come on, man. Yeah, actually, there's another 4-letter word in there too, but it was mostly food.
No, whenever I won a pretty good amount of money on the golf course, I just stuck it in my golf bag because I knew it was going to come out the next time, and I never wanted to explain to my wife, "Oh, hey, I just wrote a check for a golf bet."
Now, nobody is ever, and so here we go again. In entrepreneurship, you bet on yourself. And I just got done talking about putting your ladder of success on the right building. And I went out there and I bet on nobody. I bet on everybody but me. I bet against the house. I bet on football teams. I bet on a tennis player I've never met in my life. I bet all this stupid stuff. Well, that's right. I also bet an NHL hockey game. I haven't watched NHL in probably 6 months.
That was a drunk bet.
Yep. And And so, you know what's funny is I asked my buddy to bet because he's a big hockey player. He goes, "Oh yeah, you didn't win, but I did." I'm like, "What? Wait a minute." He goes, "Oh yeah, I placed another bet after that." I'm like, "Is this how this works?"
Yeah.
That's like the person who says, "Hey, if I give you $100 when you go out there, could you bet for me?" I'm like, "Yeah." I came back and I'm like, he goes, "How'd you do?" Man, I won like $3,000, but you lost. You go at that point again. You know, when you start your own business, you're betting on yourself, and why not? Why not bet on yourself? And when you go out there, you're not betting on yourself. But I looked at it as entertainment, having some fun, blowing off some steam, something I'll do. Funny enough, I did tell people the first time I went out to Vegas, I was 40, I was 38. It took me 5 years to recover from that episode because that was the first time I'd ever been to Vegas for funsies. And I think I slept like a grand total of an hour and a half. And I partied hard and I went hard and I went, I can't do that anymore. Now I've been out there. I'll probably go out there every year now, maybe for the football games.
Really?
But I'm starting to tailor myself back down. I didn't really hurt myself that much this time, necessarily, although I'm getting older. And it's very dry out there. So it's not so much just the alcohol, it's the humidity.
Is that what it is?
It's the dry heat.
It's not the alcohol.
Right. It's the dry heat,
Yeah.
Alan. Nobody,
You know, it was a dry heat that once caused me not to be able to find my hotel room. So the only time I've been in a sports book was where I ended up until I got a hold of one of my buddies and said, "Hey, why don't you meet me in the sports book?" Because I thought, well, maybe they can find my hotel room. But I'm sure that was just the humidity,
I think it's the dry heat.
the dry heat. Yeah.
It's not so much the heat, it's the humidity. Nobody ever says, "Boy, it's a really dry cold." It's the dry heat. Oh, I'm good to be back.
Mm.
But you're right. The Vegas trip was good. It's fun to get out there and get away and see it for a little while. And going back to why you run your own business, the vacations, can't count them. I went to hire a guy and the guy says, "Well, I'm not going to come work for you unless I get 4 weeks vacation." And I went, "Okay." I mean, I don't even count. So whatever you want to do. If you can, as long as you can hit your goals and you can do this, sure. And he ended up saying no because he had come from corporate America and he just couldn't get his head wrapped around the fact that I was offering him a sales position in a small company where there really aren't many rules. Just go out there and sell. Let's just go out there and sell people, man. And he just could not. He was like, I think he didn't believe me. I was like, "Sure, you want 4 weeks? Okay, sure."
Wow. So you've really come a long way, because I remember back in our early chamber days, I mean, you know what it was like. It's like, oh dear God, what have I done?
Oh yeah.
And here you are going out to Vegas with your buddies. I'm assuming somewhere along the line, you've properly thanked your wife for supporting you for all this, and hopefully she gets to go to Vegas. Or
She went to Miami.
okay.
Yeah, she was in Miami for a week. I get to go to Vegas for 4 days. She was in Miami for a week.
That seems fair.
Yeah, yeah. And if you saw the Amazon bills, I think we're single-handedly keeping Amazon in business now. But you're right. But is that success? Being able to buy all that stuff and do all these things? Not necessarily. Back to the freedom part. That for me is success. The fact that we're sitting here doing this podcast right now, and my team's out there making things happen. And we get to sit here and have a beer at the end of the day, and they're just finishing up and hitting the road, and we get to sit here and do this. This is success for me because this is more freedom.
Yeah.
More about what I
quality
love
of
to do.
life, right?
Yeah.
Yep. It's not how much money you put in the bank.
If that's all you're about, man, you are going to be Ebenezer Scrooge, and you are going to go down hard.
Well, and it goes back to that putting your ladder on the wrong house for success. So our guest at the time, he had all the money in the world. He could buy everything he wanted, and he was basically having a stroke in the middle of his showroom floor. And he had his ladder on the wrong house of success.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a great line. And that guy had a
I-
huge epiphany and has something that we all hope never happens to any of us. But that's one of those life-defining moments. It's that time. And hopefully if you're listening to this and you get a chance to really embrace that, don't let that become you. Don't let that become you grinding 24/7.
It's so hard for somebody to actually process that, though, because until you've made a lot of money you just don't understand. And until you've lost a lot of money, you just don't understand. And so when you're sitting there looking up, you're thinking, okay, success is me having a lot of money coming in. And yeah, money pays your bills, and
And money allows you to go to Vegas, and money allows you to do podcasts.
but ultimately, once your bills are paid, what gives you joy, what gives you fulfillment, it isn't going to be the money. It's going to be time spent with your family. It's going to be actually doing things for others, community service. I mean, there are so many unfulfilled, lonely, really freaking rich people out there. And, the people who actually have a sense of purpose in their life are the ones that are actually have kind of figured this out. Yeah, money's great, but it's not everything. And
yeah, you're preaching hard stuff right there, and that is something that you have to really internalize and understand. And do a lot of people understand it? No, it's just like when you start your own business. We had a podcast guest say this earlier. Your relationship with money really changes when you start your own business.
mm-hmm.
And the phrase that really stuck with me was, you don't know you're an entrepreneur and running your own business until you have to go grab a check to make payroll. And when I had to do that, it just rang so true for me. And I was like, okay, is this really what success looks like? Well, shit, no. And not at that point, it didn't. But if you don't have that purpose and all you're doing is trying to grab that almighty dollar, and you put 3 million in the bank, man, pick a number, pick a number that you think is stupid. I think 3 million in the bank in your 60s is a good number. Okay, make it 10 million. Because I've had one guy tell me, you want to retire, all you need is 10 million. I'm like, okay, I'm about 990 million short. Can't even do the math right. But the point is
the dry heat.
It must be that dry heat again.
and there's 14 innings in a tennis match, by the way, Chris. Yeah.
I thought it was, is it 5 sets?
It's 5 sets.
It's 5 sets. And I said 7.
But I was thinking, well, maybe they went to, extra.
You know what I'm thinking? I know what it was, because my buddy was saying if they go to the tiebreaker, they're playing best of 7, not best of 10. Did I mention my kids both played high school tennis and played tennis all their life? How good am I doing? Don't listen to me. Hey, don't let the facts get in the way of a great story.
That's
okay?
right. I know. I
say
that to my wife all the time. I'm telling a great story. Everybody's loving it. And then she corrects me on a minor detail.
I won.
Yeah.
I won. Nadal. I cashed that freaking ticket in, baby.
You did.
But success, back to this, being able to do what we're doing right now, just you and me shooting the breeze on a podcast, and hopefully everybody's picking up a few nuggets here and there and enjoying what we're saying. Dude, I'm having a blast. And this, for me, is success. Would I have done this if I just started my business? Well, hell no. I would have been out there right now pounding out estimates on my computer. I would have been trying to figure out where my guys are going to be scheduled tomorrow. But now I have people who are doing that for me, and they're doing a great job. In fact, they're doing a better job than me.
You've had to bust your ass to get here, though.
I did have to bust my ass to get here. That's right. I mean, these are the spoils.
Yeah,
I mean, the fruits.
Yeah. And I mean, it's, and it drives me crazy when, the government thinks just because you're a successful business person that you just woke up one day. I mean, they didn't realize all the hell that you went through to get here, all the mistakes you learned the hard way. Because as we've established, neither of us have ever learned a lesson the easy way. It's always the hard way. And then ultimately developing a reputation, taking care of your customers, finding the right people, figuring out how to do all that. How do you find the right person? How do you keep them? And, like we were just talked about in a previous podcast, the strategic planning and getting them involved, and to the point where you've developed this culture to where you go to Vegas and meanwhile they all have thank you notes on their desk, from you. I mean, it's
so cool. Yeah, I know. We just walked around and they were all there.
It doesn't happen overnight.
That's the biggest thing. So I'm big on social media. You can always check me out on customerservice.freak on Instagram, or
TikTok.
Chris Lalamia on Facebook and TikTok. And I'm all over it. Go out there and check me out. Go out there and hit me in my DM for sure, because I'd love to hear more about what you guys are thinking about, how we're doing and what we're doing with it. But to go back to it again, the thank you notes that are sitting on those tables, it just meant the world to me when I came in, and I didn't even notice it until we sat down to get ready to do the podcast, and they all had them sitting up there. It was rock star stuff.
What
for
a
me.
moment.
It was really cool. Now that's what success looks like, right? When your team's out there rocking that stuff out and putting that out there, and they really appreciate what you're doing, and they appreciate where they're at. that means a lot. And when I was doing the strategic planning meeting, one of the things I didn't talk about was I had a facilitator help me, and he said, "What's the culture like in your company?" And I said, "I think it's strong in one sense and weak in another." I said, "Right now, I think I have a culture of a company that says they will ride or die with me. I have the 18 people in that room. I had 16 that would ride or die with me for
That's
sure."
leadership right there.
Yeah. Now, ask the next question. How do you think your teammates are performing in relation to you? They would say, "Well, I don't think they care as much as I do about the success of the company." And that's the culture part I've got to work on a little bit, because I don't think they think the teammates have the same level of commitment. But
Wait
yet
a
I
minute.
see
Say
it.
that. Say that one more time. What's the question?
Here's the question. Are you committed to Chris and his company?
Okay.
Yes, 100%. Do you think your teammates are as committed to Chris and the company as you are?
Oh, so they think
No.
they're in, but maybe not everybody.
Not to
else.
the level I am.
Okay.
And I think that would probably come out pretty prevalently. It's a blind spot that I've been able to identify, and I'm trying to figure out how they can all identify the fact that what makes us all different makes us stronger, and the fact that this person doesn't think like you do and this person doesn't do something like you do doesn't make them lesser, just makes them different. And that's up to me as a leader to get them to go, as a team we're rowing in the same direction. And then it comes back to, and what's in it for me? And that's the thing I got to solve this year. And when I say what's in it for me, I'm not talking about Chris. I'm talking about the team.
Right.
Yeah. Man, we went pretty far in a field on this one, but
Yeah, we were supposed to be talking about how to fire customers, weren't we?
you know what? But that was such a dry. Bing bong. Let's
Vegas.
talk about something funner.
Vegas.
Vegas. Winning. There's a reason they keep knocking down those huge places out there and building brand new, bigger places.
It's shocking, isn't it?
And you know what the reason is? Not everybody's winning.
No.
And I'm a testament to that.
So it sounds like you broke even. That's kind of winning in my
I don't know about that. I'm still down, but I had entertainment fun.
Right.
I spent what I thought I'd spend. I would have liked to have a few more bucks in my pocket while I was out there for some more funsies, but we ended up walking a lot more and watching the Bellagio fountains more.
I've never left Vegas ahead, ever. And the only time I remember thinking, I am ahead. It's my last night. I've had plenty of drinks. I'm done. And I'm walking to the elevators, and all of a sudden I hear, Al, hey, Al. And it's, the guys that work for me, and they're rocking the blackjack table. It's like, come on, hang out with me. And I ended up upside down. And I was literally 20 feet from the elevator to just leaving Vegas the first time I had.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And it was gone.
I'm going to leave you this one last story because you shared one with me and I'm going to share one with you. That first time I went out there, and I was 38 years old, I went there with my buddies, and we partied, and we partied like nobody's business. And like I said, I might have slept an hour and a half average every night, not the hour and a half total, but hour and a half average. My wife was with me. We're out there, and she says, "Okay, what's our agreed to limit?" And I was in corporate America at the time. And I said, "Okay, I think our agreed to limit is $500. I can lose $500. So I go out there and I'm partying with my boys, and we're just hitting it hard, and we're playing everything we could possibly find. I didn't see my wife for like the next 3 days. We were out there. No, we go to dinner and we do all this stuff. And I go down 500. And I still have 2 days left. So I go to the ATM. I work for the bank. I go pull out the max on the ATM, and that's another 500. And I go out there, and I keep going with my boys, and I'm just partying, and I'm just doing the whole thing, and I'm just hitting it hard as possible. I can do this. I can make it back. I'm smart. I'm a banker. I can do all this stuff. Lose the next 500. Go to the ATM again and get 500 more. Now I've got $500. Last night, partying with my boys, hitting it hard. We're all flying on the next morning. We're supposed to fly out of Vegas at like 8 a.m. I'm out there with the boys. We're in the blackjack tables. We're moving it. I'm happening. Starting to get a little bit of a run going. Things are happening. I'm still going. I'm getting drinks. Everything's going down right. And then I get on a bad streak. And those guys are like, "Hey, man, I'm tapping out because I got to get ready. We got to be up in like 4 hours to go." And I'm like, "Okay, guys. Yeah, me too." I'm down to my last $80. $80 in chips. I put them in. I go back on the run. I get up to, I get back to 500 down. Basically $1,000. I got $1,000 in that run. I made $1,000. Sounds great, right?
And you should have walked.
And I walked.
You did.
I did. Alan, I walked.
You made a
Listen
good
to this story.
decision.
I made a good decision. I go back. I go to the cashier, which I didn't even know existed. I get my money. I put my money in my pocket. I go up to my room, put my head on my pillow. My head goes on the pillow. 5 minutes later, the alarm goes off. My wife goes, "Okay, I guess it's time for us to go to the airport."
Oh my God.
I had 5 minutes of sleep, and I didn't get to sleep. The alarm went off. She goes, "How'd we do?" I said, "You said we're $500, and we're at $500."
Oh, you are a lucky man.
But that was the longest plane ride.
The
of my
lesson
life.
here is do not put the ladder of success against the casino.
And on that note, everybody, go put your ladder on the right building success and go make it a great day, everybody. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Small Business Safari. Don't forget to go out and rate, review, and follow me. And if you like this episode, go out and check out my other episodes, or check out my Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn for other great content. And remember, your positive attitude will help you achieve your higher altitude in the wild world of small business ownership. Until next time, make it a great day, Adventure Team.